Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of all of crypto. So today we have a ton of things to talk about around regulatory issues, as well as the SEC and Gary Gensler particularly. So today was that big meeting, right? We had Gary Gensler basically on the hot seat. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. We'll go over a few things. There's a few videos, and I do think that by the end of this video, I don't mean to laugh about it, but I do think that a lot of you are going to be a little pissed off. We'll talk about that. We'll discuss it, but let's dive in, and let's start with Warren Davidson's tweet talking about the meeting today. So we do see Gary Gensler's record of failures to protect investors and abuses of power make clear the need to restructure the SEC Gov. See you in the morning, Gary Gensler. And yes, we've been discussing this for a very long time. I 100% believe that the SEC and Gary Gensler himself need to be held accountable for their actions. Over here, we do see Coinbase to consider leaving the US if regulatory clarity does not emerge. This is very interesting because guess what we have been discussing? The idea of the US losing out and actually missing the big boom around the next transformative generational opportunity. This is very similar to the internet, except guess what? This boom around crypto, digital assets, things like that, this is going to be much, much larger. I want you all to understand that as we look at what's happening around crypto today, it's the same exact thing that we've seen back in the early 90s and mid 90s and even late 90s when the internet was starting to boom. And then all of a sudden by the mid 2000s, the internet was everywhere. Everyone was utilizing the internet and it only grew from there. So as we do look at what's happening right now around crypto, I strongly believe that the US and US citizens cannot afford to miss out on this once in a lifetime opportunity. Because this is so much larger than the internet. The amount of money that will flow into crypto and around crypto is going to truly be a tsunami. Now, also over here, we do see just in the UAE regulator to accept license applications from crypto firms seeking to provide services in the country. We continue to see overseas really booming in terms of crypto adoption and acceptance. The UAE has been saying that they wanted to become a crypto hub. The UK wanted to be a crypto hub. Hong Kong wanted to be a crypto hub. Like, we are starting to see a lot more happening around crypto and crypto acceptance as well as adoption. Now with this, I want to take you guys over here to the SEC's actions from yesterday. So I'm sure that a lot of you probably hold Algo. I don't know about all of these other tokens, but I know Algo is a huge one around the utility gem token space. And we do see from David Schwartz, SEC claims buyers of Dash, Algo, OMG, TKN, NGC, and IHT have a reasonable expectation of a profit. Sounds like investment advice to me from, again, the SEC. But here we have the SEC names these tokens securities in Bittrex lawsuit. Again, as we sit here, just waiting and waiting and waiting until the SEC makes some sort of claim or something happens. Well, guess what? It leaves the door open for them to go after any of these tokens. And I mean any token in this space as well, for it being a security. Because there's absolutely zero clarity. There's no transparency at all. So I want to ask all of you, how does this make you feel? Because we've been in a battle for 2.5 years with zero update from the SEC and zero transparency, clarity, etc. around crypto. Now, also over here, we do see what does he think happens when you regulate and shut down exchanges? It hurts investors. Here's that claim from yesterday from Gary Gensler. Today's action yet again makes plain that the crypto markets suffer from a lack of regulatory compliance, not a lack of regulatory clarity. What's comical about this, and what should piss everyone off, is the fact that no one, and I mean no one, is getting hurt in crypto more by the exchanges, etc., than the SEC themselves. The SEC is doing more harm than anything else around crypto. This is absolutely comical. They are shutting down exchanges. They're going after exchanges. They're going after tokens. They're claiming tokens are securities. And what does this do? Well, for those that are a part of these tokens, we start to see major sell-offs, or we start to see liquidity locked. We start to see liquidity drying up. Like, this is their motive. They want this entire space to basically be a ghost town so that they can come in, sweep it up, take all of the control, push it into Wall Street's hands, and then say, hey, crypto's the big blah, 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 this, that, whatever. We've seen the same thing with the internet. That's why I like to compare it to internet. I know somebody said that it's almost like cell phones, like when cell phones start to come out and, you know, be a big thing. Like, again, we have historical battles on the regulatory front around, you know, these spaces. For example, Uber, right? Uber is a great example. We had taxis. The taxi services were banding together to fight back against Uber. Well, guess who succeeded? That's right, Uber did, because of what they were doing. Innovation will not die. Technology will thrive. What we see around these battles is clear intent. But also, we see a clear future where crypto is being attacked so much by these regulators. They're trying everything in their power to stop and slow down technology. But guess what? The innovation and the technology around crypto is far too great to ignore. And it will continue to grow and expand. Imagine protecting investors by approving margin Bitcoin ETFs, but not spot. This is all the evidence needed to reveal the true intentions of the SEC. And yes, you know, we just recently talked about the spot ETF and how that got completely shut down. But guess what? They approved margin Bitcoin ETFs. You know how insane that is? That is absolutely crazy to me. And this does show the true intent, because when you look at margin trading, it's just as risky as futures trading. But the problem is that you are taking a loan to trade and you're paying interest on it, meaning that that's all they care about. All they care about is how much money they can make off of you and me. That's all this is about. They don't care about spot trading or anything like that. They care about the margin trading, where they, one, give you significant risk. You also have to pay interest on it. Like, there's a lot of problems with this. Now, also, I do want to go into the video section of this. So I have a couple videos that I want to play for you guys. So first off, this one's about 21 seconds long. We do see SEC Chair Gary Gensler blames Silicon Valley Bank collapse on crypto. Comical. Listen closely.
The biggest, Silicon Valley Bank, actually, when it failed, you saw this country's, the world's second leading stable coin, had $3 billion involved there, DPEG. So it's interesting just how this was all had some crypto narrative as well.
And my time is up. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So yeah, blame it all on crypto. It's all crypto. Crypto's the fault here. It's not the fact that these banks are over leveraged with funds. It's not the fact that these banks are running on practically no liquidity, but it's all crypto. Crypto is causing all this mayhem. Crypto is one of the biggest risks to, you know, the financial system ever. That's what they want you to believe. Remember, the internet was a big risk. They thought the internet was going to kill us all. Yeah, well, now they think that crypto is apparently the biggest risk in the room, and that's going to cause financial chaos, and it's going to cause, you know, financial collapse. Hello, 2008 is calling. Was crypto around in 2008? Oh yeah, that's right, it wasn't. What caused the bank collapse back there? They'll blame it on something else. It wasn't the banks. It wasn't the fact that they were playing with too much money. Because that's what the banks do. They take your money, they lend it out, and guess what? Your money's not even there. When you go and withdraw your money, it's going to take a couple days. Give us a couple days, please. It's all nonsense. Now, also, over here we do see, watch as U.S. Congressman and Chairman of House Financial Services Committee, Patrick McHenry, grills Gary Gensler before Congress. If you ever wanted to see a hypocrite get taken to task, enjoy the next 4 minutes. Yeah, listen close to this video. It's about 4 minutes long, but there's so much information here, and it just shows how much Gary Gensler is trying to basically not answer any questions, and also kind of just play this stupid narrative that he plays forever, which is like, you know, being the biggest clown in the room by not giving any sort of insight on anything? Like, listen closely to this.
Well, thank you, Chair Gensler. I'll now recognize myself for 5 minutes. Ether is one of the most popular digital assets and powers the Ethereum blockchain. Back in 2018, then SEC Corporation Finance Director Bill Hinman stated that he believed Ether was not a security. Last month, CFTC Chair Benham expressed his view that Ether is a commodity. The State Attorney General of New York asserted in a court filing last month that Ether is a security. Clearly, an asset cannot be both a commodity and a security. Do you agree?
Actually, all securities are commodity under the Commodity and Exchange Act. It's that we are excluded commodities. But I would agree that a security cannot be also an excluded commodity and an included commodity. I'm sorry, Chair, just to talk about the Commodity Exchange Act more precisely.
Okay, so do you recognize, how would you categorize Ether then?
Look, I think that the general sweep of what Congress did, not just in the 30s, but as amended.
I'm asking you, sitting in your chair now, to make an assessment under the laws as exist. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
Without speaking to any one.
I know you've repeatedly said that you're not going to speak to one, except you've spoken to one, Bitcoin. So I'm asking you to speak to a second one, the second largest market cap here.
And speaking to the tokens, there's 10 to 12,000. If there's a group of entrepreneurs in the
I'm asking
middle,
about one.
The public is anticipating a profit based on the.
I'm asking you a specific question, Chair Gensler. I said this in private. This should be no shock to you. I'm asking this question. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
And again, it depends on the facts and the law, and if there's a group of individuals.
I'm asking you about the facts and the law sitting in your seat and the judgment you are making.
And so, Mr. Chair, I think you would not want me to prejudge because I'm also.
But you have prejudged on this. You've taken 50 enforcement actions. We're finding out as we go, as you file suit, as people get Wells notices on what is a security in your view, in your agency's view. I'm asking you a very simple question about the second largest digital asset. What is your view?
And my view is if there's a group of individuals in the middle that the public is anticipating.
All right, so let me just ask a second question then. Do you think it serves the market for an object to be viewed by the commodities regulator as a commodity and the securities regulator to be viewed as a security? Do you think that provides safety and soundness for the product? Do you think it provides consumer protection? Do you think it serves the value of innovation? I think no should be a very simple answer for you here.
I think
that uncertainty is bad, is it not?
And I think that Congress has said that there's one agency, the Securities and Exchange Commission, under this committee.
And you won't answer my question, and you're the head of that agency. So give me a break. Come on.
I'm answering it in the generic because you would not want me to speak about any one set of facts and circumstance.
Okay, so, but you've already spoken. Have you said anything about Bitcoin?
My predecessors and the agency itself has spoken to them.
Okay, but you're not willing to do the same about Ether. Okay, so let me just step back. There's a lack of clarity here in the marketplace. Can you at least agree to that?
I think that the clarity is there. The law is clear.
All right.
There's a group
of individuals let me be explicit about this. The market doesn't see it. Your regulatory actions and the CFTC's regulatory actions say that there's a great deal of uncertainty here. It is the intention of this committee to fix that uncertainty and actually provide a sound legal basis for this.
And now we are starting to see a big shift. We see the SEC now in the targets. We still see, though, Gary. He's playing the game well. Blockchain Backer actually said it perfectly. Just realize we are 45 minutes into this grilling. And while he's been put in the hot seat, Gensler has answered nothing. And that is the goal. And yes, that is exactly what it is. He's trying to dodge the questions, trying to get out of these questions. It is absolutely comical. Absolutely comical. Now, also over here, we have about a minute and 30-second long video on Gary not turning over FTX documents to Congress. What a national embarrassment. Listen closely to this as well.
I believe in congressional oversight, and I know
Okay,
the staff's
all right,
working
moving on,
together.
moving on. I'm taking that as a no. So the climate disclosure request, you like that. You responded to our FTX request solely with publicly available documents. To date, 213 pages of those publicly available documents have produced. And guess what? You didn't give us anything surrounding the charges filed against Sam Bankman-Fried. On April 12, Chair McHenry and I sent you a follow-up letter, and we're led to believe that the staff recommendation memo presented to the commission for a vote on charges against Sam Bankman-Fried exists. Is that true? Is there a memo from the staff recommending to the commission the charges that Sam Bankman-Fried was ultimately charged with?
Under standard practice, our commission receives action memos from the staff whenever.
So it does exist.
We work on.
So it does exist. Okay, well, you haven't sent that to us. Your staff has frankly told us that it exists, yet you have not sent it.
When we conduct an investigation, we are obliged to keep investigative matters confidential.
So don't hold on a second. Don't hide behind the DOJ, because then it sounds like I need to send letters to the DOJ and not to the SEC about the SEC charges. So we'll be following up with this after this. My time has expired.
Response to our questions would be appropriate.
And again, like, this is exactly what is happening. Like, there's zero answers, no yes or no, dodging, completely ignoring, the actual question at hand. Like what is going on? What's happening here? Like, we need answers. We demand answers. As investors in the US, we should all be demanding answers. Now, obviously, yes, I know that all of you are not watching from the US. All of you could watch outside of the US as well and kind of have your own opinion as well. I would love to hear from all of you. Comment down below how this is making you feel. But like, as we do look at what's happening around the SEC, we continue to see this dodging narrative. And last but not least, a 1:27 long video. This puts everything into perspective on a few things. So this is him in speech. Great point. Listen closely.
Mr. Gensler, you started your conversation with this committee with "my views are my own."
Yes,
Why did you say that?
because it's part of our law that I always say that my views are my own. They don't represent the staff or my fellow commissioners.
Do they represent the agency?
I'm here as the chair of the agency, but because I'm a member of a five-member commission, the commission speaks as that commission, and so that's standard language that we include in each of our speeches and our testimonies.
So you don't represent the agency. You cannot speak on behalf of the agency. Why are you here?
As chair of the agency, to express the views as the chair of the agency.
Then why didn't you say I express the views as chairman as opposed to my own? I don't understand that. Those are personal. When you say my own, that's personal. Now you're contradicting that and saying as chairman.
Again, because it's written into our...
I think you ought to reevaluate that, because I think that's a complete cop-out. I think that's a cop-out that I think we hear, and that's why this committee is going to express its opinion to you today. Mr. Chairman, I'd ask unanimous consent for a letter that I've sent to Mr. Gensler to be entered.
Without objection.
And yeah, this is exactly the problem that we have here, is that, one, oh, my views are my own. Okay, so so the SEC is not giving any sort of idea on anything, right? They're not giving any clarity, no transparency. Their views are their own. So why the hell are we funding this? Why are taxpayers getting shafted and funding this agency? It's an absolute circus show. And we're supposed to take their nonsense as, oh, okay, well, this is telling us full transparency that, these tokens are securities, these tokens are, like, why are we taking any sort of information from why isn't the SEC completely abolished? Why are we still funding this nonsense? Why are the taxpayers the ones that have to, pay for this nonsense? Because guess what? In the US, those that invested in XRP, we not only got shafted, from the SEC lawsuit against XRP, for an example, $15 billion worth of damages. But we also get shafted by paying for the SEC and funding these absolute clowns that do zero work, they have zero idea on anything. They don't want to give you zero idea on anything. They don't want to be transparent. They don't want to have clarity around the space. And it's all to what? Do more harm to everyone. They continue to tout this nonsense while we see innovation moving overseas. Like, if this does not piss you off, I really don't know what else to say. Because the events in the last 2.5 years have been nothing but dodging questions, not answering anything, no transparency, no clarity. And why do you think that? Well, it just allows the SEC to go after more easy paydays. Oh, we got another settlement. We did this many actions in this. So like in this announcement here, like, this is crazy to me, because we also seen Gary go on to mention how they filed over 1,500 enforcement actions and overseen tens of thousands of registrants. Like, okay, but what did you actually do? What did the SEC actually do? Was there any transparency? Was there any work done? Well, I know the answer. Do you all? This is why we 100% need to stop this. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are. This is Beautiful World. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.